Good morning. Good morning to y'all, YouTube. Happy blessed. Today's Thursday. I want to say, yeah, happy blessed Thursday to those of you guys that are tuning in, whether you are catching this thing live or on the replay crew. Listen, I've been seeing y'all putting y'all little hashtag replay crew. So as always, if you are catching this thing on the replay, go ahead right now and hashtag replay crew in the comments. If you have not already smashed that thumbs up button, please go ahead and do so. As always, before we start every single broadcast, every single daily manna, go ahead and tell God thank you and tell us one thing, with the exception of life and with the exception of God waking you. Tell us one thing that you are absolutely grateful for on today. I will say, what's up, Bishop? I will say that today I am just grateful for understanding. I'm grateful for God's guidance today. I'm grateful that that I'm gonna just say this. I'm grateful that when you choose God, you in a position to where the devil is never able to one up you. And so I am so very just thankful for that in itself. What's going on, my Yanni? God bless you, Micah. It is so good to see you. And so we're going to go ahead and get started with today's daily manna. I'm gonna sip me a little bit of coffee. This is gonna be one for the book, so go ahead and just buckle in. I feel like these broadcasts, I love the YouTube, the YouTube community and even just the atmosphere here on YouTube. But I feel like some of the broadcasts from YouTube as well as TikTok have been really God dealing with us and helping us maneuver through just the journey of faith in itself. And so I'm just so grateful for that in itself. As you guys can see by the title, grateful for God's help. I know that's right. As you guys can see by the title, I don't know what that is. What do you want? As y'all can see by today's title, hold on one second. We got somebody. Tell him, hey, Pooh. Tell him hello. Since you wanted to be up here, say, hey, y'all. Say, hey, YouTube. Say, I'm still here. Okay. But as you guys can see by today's topic, the title of today's daily manna is work through it. I feel like whenever we talk about life in itself, not even just the journey of faith, your face is covering things. I feel like, hey, what are you doing? Now you get over here and sit down. If you gonna sit up here, you get your little face out the camera. But I feel like, what's going on, Kaylee? I feel like whenever we think about life in itself, whenever we think about faith in itself, it is impossible to live life and not be triggered by something. Don't be laughing. It is impossible to go through the journey of faith and God not expose your fears. I'ma just say it like I'ma just say it again. Blessings to you, Amanda. It is impossible for us to go through life and not be triggered by something. Why? Because all of us have some sort of experiences that have traumatized us, or some sort of experiences. When you break down what trauma is, it stems from an event that made such a large negative impact that you carry the residue and the effects of that with you, even long after the event is over and done with. And I just feel like life is a mixture of God giving us opportunities to grow past the things that have traumatized us. I feel like the journey of faith in itself is one of those journeys that just exposes our fears. And as we're going throughout the process of faith, God pretty much guides us through trauma. He helps us maneuver through trauma to get to the other side, which is a place that we call God's best for our life. And so today was a very interesting morning. Thank you so much, Kaylee. It was one of those mornings where, blessings to you, Joe Campbell. It was one of those mornings where, if I can be for real, like, I was worked up in my mind about a situation. Anybody ever been just worked up in your mind about a situation, whether it's your financial situation, whether it is a job situation, whether it is, a Vic, whatever the case may be, whether it is even relational. And it had worked me up in my mind to such a degree that I began to feel like anxious. And one thing that we know about anxiety is the root of anxiety, it is fear, right? Great morning to you, Miss Nicole. The root of anxiety is fear. And one thing that we know about God is that God doesn't just expose our fears, but he walks us through the journey to getting past them and getting to a place where we trust him more than we feel afraid. We trust him more than the need to just run, or whatever the case may be. Does that make sense? Give me some fire emojis if that makes sense. And so Today I was having a moment, and I feel like a lot of times when we have those anxious moments or those moments where we are just stuck in our head, I feel like a lot of times we just wish that God would take the anxiety away. I'm gonna sip some coffee on that. A lot of times we just wish that he would just, God, just take these thoughts. God, just take it away. Just take this uncomfortable feeling that I just take it away. And if we can be real, I'm even guilty of this. Sometimes we get mad at God when he doesn't take them away. We feel like now I just gotta suffer. Like I have been that person. This morning I had a whole moment like that where I'm like, I'm in my head about this. I'm overthinking. I'm anxious. I'm getting worked up. Why won't you just take this feeling? And you want to know what God told me? The Lord told me, work through it. Now, usually God will say, when it's a situation that he knows kind of makes me feel not necessarily vexed, but a situation that makes me feel some kind of way, for lack of a better phrase. A lot of times, like, God will tell me, talk to me. And I don't know about y'all, but sometimes whenever God tells me to like enter into like communion with him and talk to him, a lot of times I feel even more anxious because it's sometimes we go through things or our minds process things, and sometimes we just don't know how to put it into words. And sometimes we feel like if I put this into words, it makes it even realer than it already feels. Oh, okay, y'all done got to talk back to me. And so I've had moments like that where in moments where I'm overwhelmed, instead of running to God, I've had those moments where I'm like, you know what? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to work. I just don't want to do it. Even though the Bible tells us that when we communicate with God, that when we give it to him, that there is a heavenly exchange that happens, meaning he takes our burdens, our cares, our concerns, and as a means, right? We give, we receive his peace, right? Peace that guards both our hearts and our minds. Philippians 4 verses 6 through 9 breaks that down for us, that those are the benefits of what we receive when we talk to God. However, the devil's agenda is to keep us in a constant state of panic, which includes anxiety, it includes depression. His job is to keep us in a constant state of panic because he knows that a lot of times when we start to panic, what we avoid the most is intimacy with God. Hey baby, you okay? Mama get that baby suckers. I'm gonna say it again. The devil's job is to keep us in a constant state of panic because he knows if we are busy in panic mode, that the number one thing that we want to avoid the most in moments like that, because we feel overloaded. It's like a system overload and we kind of shut down. He knows that not only will we shut down, but we will shut off intimacy with God. Think about it. The last time you were attacked in a way that made you feel overwhelmed, the number one thing that you probably felt was, I don't want to talk to God. I want to just sit and think about this thing. I want to sit and I want to brainstorm how to get out of this situation. A lot of times that is the first thing that we feel, the need to just kind of just triggered and overstimulated. You get what I'm saying? But that's the number one thing that we feel. And the devil knows that if we're stuck in a place of panic, then we will not be in God's presence and we won't be able to really gain a proper perspective of things. When you are operating from the lenses of anxiety or fear to any degree, you don't see your life clearly. It's kind of like, what do they call those things when people are in the desert and they are suffering from dehydration? One of the symptoms of dehydration in the desert is that they will begin to see what you call mirages, where it looks like, they may see a body of water and it's really not a body of water. They travel all these ways to get there and realize it was just sand. You get what I'm saying? And so fear does the same thing to us. It creates mirages where it makes us perceive things that are not really there. What are you grunting about, old man, little baby? What are you grunting about? What is you grunting about? You want to get down? Okay, get down. You can get down because you grunting. I don't got time for your dramatics today. Mama don't have time for no dramatics. But a lot of times fear does the same thing. It creates scenarios that are not even there. It makes us perceive things, when it revolves around the people that are involved that are not really there. And so, you know, a lot of times the devil knows that if he can keep us in a state of panic, he can keep us things, but not only perceiving our life the wrong way, but he can also get us to perceive God. And so we start looking at God as if he's the devil, and we just start to slowly and sometimes more quicker than slowly begin to separate from God. And so this morning, as I was having a moment, like God, instead of him saying talk to me about it, because it's like I don't even know what to say, the Lord told me, he says, work through it. And so I want to teach you guys how to work through those moments where you are overstimulated, where you are anxious, where you are just overwhelmed, because it happens to all of us. The first thing that I did was put everything in black and white, meaning I stated the facts of the situation. And I'm gonna say this, in stating the facts with the particular situation that I was dealing with, I started first about my real feelings, not my triggers, right? Because a lot of times when we're triggered, being triggered feels like an emotion, but it is not an emotion. It is something that has the capacity to determine our emotions. And so I started off with, this is how I really feel about this situation. This is where I am with this situation. This is at the core what I feel about this. Right, I started off with just talking about, this is how I feel. Apart from being triggered, if I didn't feel triggered, if I didn't feel overwhelmed or overstimulated, these are the facts of my feelings, right? Because a lot of times how we feel, it is a fact. How a person perceives something is truly how it is. A lot of times before we even get to the point of being overwhelmed by something, we have a feeling or a thought about that thing. Oh, okay. Y'all ain't got to talk back to me. Y'all don't have to talk back to me. I'm going to say it again. Before we ever get to the point of being overwhelmed about something or anxious about something, you have an initial feeling that you feel. However, when you get triggered and when you don't deal with how you feel, it turns into you feeling triggered, which makes you feel anxious. And so a lot of times the real feelings of how we really feel gets covered up by the extreme emotion from being anxious. And so what we're doing is working to destimulate, I think that's a word, to destimulate our nervous system, right? When you're triggered, your nervous system is alert. So in bringing yourself back down to a place where you're not overstimulated, where you're not overloaded with a ton of emotions, the first thing is start with how you feel. If it is, let's just say it's relationally, right? And you have a situation with maybe reconnection. I'll use myself for example. Y'all got time? So recently I've reconnected with my older sister. However, my nephew, I do not want to reconnect with. I'm telling my business. I don't want to reconnect with him really ever. And that's just where I was. However, like, I didn't really feel off center with my older sister at first. Because I could just see, like, you're trying to mend things, and she even said something to that fact. She acknowledged what she's done. I was cool with that. But then when it went down to, you know, her trying to like say, well, bridge the gap, call your nephew, do this, do that. Like, I felt overwhelmed after she had said that. And I felt overwhelmed even after she had gone home. Like, God was talking to me. He's like, why are you overwhelmed? Why are you anxious? And when I really got down to the root of to the root of it in destimulating myself and regulating myself, I said, Lord, the reality of it is he's disrespectful and I don't want to deal with that. Those were my real feelings. He is disrespectful and I don't want to deal with that. Why should I let him have the luxury of calling me to send condolences about a dog when he did not send condolences about my aunt? He didn't even me at my aunt's funeral, knowing that me and my aunt were extremely close. So these are feelings, right? These are feelings. These are raw feelings of how I feel. It was overclouded by someone else's desire of what they wanted me to do. And so in order to get to a place where I'm not overwhelmed with it, and I'm going to say this, in order to get to a place where I know what to do, because a lot of times we get overwhelmed when we start getting anxious, we feel overwhelmed because we start feeling like I don't know what to do. And that creates anxiety. I'm already uncomfortable. And then because I'm ignoring my feelings, I'm not really paying attention. There are outside influences pushing me in a certain direction. This is the root of how I really feel. Like, this is the reality of like where I am. And so we get to a place where it's kind of like, I don't really know what decision that you want me to make. I feel overwhelmed because I don't know what to do. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And that's just really what it turns into. And so the first thing that I did was I went back to my original feelings. Why are you not talking to him? This is why I'm not talking to him. Do you think that he's changed? No, I don't think that he's changed. And so in me getting to a place where I could first state the facts and acknowledge this is why things are the way that they are, this is why I don't want to reach out, I was able to, once I regulated myself, a sense of peace came. Because I feel like sometimes anxiety comes, being overwhelmed comes when we have trained ourselves not to honor how we feel. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. I'm going to say it again. I feel like a lot of times what happens is, right, we train ourselves, right, to ignore how we really feel. And so when we continue down the path, ignoring how we feel, ignoring, because that's a lot of times if you are a people pleaser, if you've gone through anything, sometimes that happens, right? And so I got to a place where I'm like, okay, let me not ignore my feelings. In despite of everything else, let me not ignore how I really feel about what is being presented to me. In that moment of me acknowledging my emotions, honoring how I felt, a sense of peace came, and then God's instructions came. I'm going to say this. You need peace in order to know what to do. You need peace in order to hear what God is saying. Whew. I'm going to say it again. You need peace in order, come on somebody, to know what God is saying. You need peace to be able to discern. And a lot of times we feel overwhelmed because we feel like I'm not able to discern or decipher what I need to do. So in honoring your emotions, stating the reality of how you really feel if trauma or being triggered was not there, it brings you to a place where peace can flow in, and now you're able to see what God needs you to do. So I'm still going to use myself for example. So I went from feeling overloaded, feeling like I don't know what to do, but I feel uneasy. And I'm going to say this, uneasiness is a sign that you are going in the wrong direction. Uneasiness is a sign that you are going in the wrong direction. And if you keep ignoring the fact that you feel uneasy about something that is happening, you're going to end up overwhelmed. You're going to end up anxious. And so the first sign for me was, okay, people are outside influences are trying to push me to reconnect with this person I don't want to reconnect with. I don't want to talk to him. I don't want him at my house. I don't want to deal with him at all. And I ain't mad. I ain't any of that. But a cutoff is a cutoff. You're a repeat offender and you've been doing it. So cool. The moment I stopped going in the direction to reconnecting was the moment that peace came. And the moment that peace came, you want to know what God said? God asked me a question. He says, why did you unblock him? Block him back. And the moment that I blocked him back, on my phone that is, was the moment I felt okay. Sometimes it is just as simple as that. Number one, stop moving and just stop moving. Whatever you're doing while you're feeling overwhelmed, stop. State the facts of where you are. Think about your real feelings concerning what it is. Your feeling could be, I don't want to go, I don't want to do that. Don't do it. Your feeling could be, I don't want to do this. Guess what? Don't do it. Right? Number two, state the facts of how you feel. Honor that. Honor how you feel. Once you do that, those three things, those are really the three things. Number one, stop moving. Number two, state the facts. Number three, honor how you feel. Those things right there will keep you in God's perfect will for your life. And you will literally shut the door on the devil being able to wreak havoc on your nervous system. And so when it's all said and done, today's word for you is work through it. Yeah, I know you're anxious. I know you may be overwhelmed, but work through it. Stop moving. Don't do anything else. State the facts of how. Number two. And number three, honor how you feel. If this has blessed you, can you tell God thank you? If this has blessed you, can you tell God thank you? Yeah. 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 That's it. To those of you guys that feel led to sow, the only thing that I ask that you do is the only thing that I ask that you do is, tell God thank you. If you feel led to sow, you can sow, and you label this your honor myself seed, because I feel like working through things is a lot of times about honoring how you feel, and it's about honoring exactly where you are. I don't have a seed number. You sow what you feel led to sow, but that is it, y'all. That is it. I love y'all, though. I am for you guys, and so y'all, that strategy will help you not be overwhelmed in any area of your life. Stop moving. State the facts of how you feel. And number three, honor how you feel. Those three things, doing them in that exact order, will get you to a place where you're able to perceive and discern what direction God needs you to go in. And so that is it, y'all. I love y'all. If you're on the replay, be sure that you are hitting that thumbs up button. Y'all over on TikTok, we about to go ahead and switch over. I'm finna warm up me some more, make me some more coffee, and then I'm gonna see y'all on TikTok. And so till next time, y'all, peace.